Hello everybody, welcome back to Planet Coaster 2, welcome back to Jardin Magique, and welcome to a very special guest. I'm joined here today by my good friend SP Ridley. SP, thank you very much for joining me today.
Hello.
I will be doing the usual little tour of everything I've done recently later in the episode. But yeah, I mean, I mentioned this on the last episode of Jardin that I wanted to bring you on to talk a bit about the kind of lore that we've been working on for the park.
Yeah.
That we sort of devised together and then that you've been kind of going ham on, coming up with all this cool stuff.
I'm a lunatic. I started to write. I don't even know how to write well. And it's like, let's do it.
Exactly. So I guess to start with, I should say that the original idea for the park, I think what happened is I came to you and basically said, well, I'm going to work on this park that's sort of set somewhere in like France, Belgium area. Mm-hmm. And it's a bit like Plopsaland in that it's based around like a children's IP that's going to be like frogs. I think it was frogs that I told you.
You told me it was frogs then.
Yeah, I think so. This was like 8 months ago or something. Oh, I can't remember.
A lot of months ago, yeah.
And then you were like, okay, great.
It was more like, okay, great. I think I have an idea. I need stuff to draw for my portfolio because I'm out of a job.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm going to use this as an excuse to create characters.
Yeah, I was like, SP's out of work. This is my moment to take advantage of him as an unemployed person. No, yeah. Basically, as we started going back and forward on this, we were kind of, it sort of felt like we were in tune, basically. And every time I was like, what about this? You'd be like, yeah. And then you'd be like, what about this? So we came down on this idea, basically, that it's like a park that's based around kind of obscure children's film and TV IPs. Mm-hmm. Obviously, at Plopsaland, they're all kind of cursed.
Not all.
Maybe not all of them, but
I will say the original stuff seems cursed.
Yeah.
But the thing is, and this is something that we played with in our version, right?
Yeah.
Is what they did with Japan studios and stuff like that.
Exactly. This was like the main kind of catalyst that really got the whole thing going, was this idea that it's like, because this was happening a lot in Europe and even in America in the kind of 70s and 80s, I want to say,
yep.
Where they started farming out animation to like Japanese animation studios.
And good ones at that, yeah.
Yeah, really good ones. So it's like, what if it was like that, basically, and it was this really cool kind of almost sort of Studio Ghibli inspired cartoon about this little band of frog people. And yeah, we came up with a name for the French studio. It's called Ballon Bleu. So it's Blue Balloon, basically.
Yeah.
And then we've got Studio Doma. I think this is how this would be pronounced.
Yeah, it's like Studio Frame. That will be the translation.
Frame, yeah, exactly, yeah. So that's the Japanese animation studio. And then, yeah, basically you went off and absolutely cooked the entire rest of like what this IP would be in terms of all the characters, the name of the show, the like branding for it, the whole vibe for it. So I don't know if you want to just talk a little bit about the kind of slate of characters and what your thinking was behind all of that.
Yeah, so basically I made a freaking Bible of the anime, like the European Japanese animation cartoon we made, right? European people that are as old as me will probably remember animations like Dr. Nyan, which is like D'Artagnan but with dogs, right?
Yeah.
Or Willy Fogg, Around the World in 80 Days, which is just with animals. Those were two Spanish Japanese TV cartoons, right? So we did something similar, and we created this thing, and these guys exported the cartoon into different public TVs, right? I've said that the show became popular during 1985. So this is, well, I was from 1987, so this is before me. And it was brought to the United Kingdom in 1986, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they make this show and other different shows with this studio, right? I don't think we're going to talk of those shows. We have ideas, but yeah, we created a show and they call it Crocus. I don't know how to pronounce our own TV show, you know? The problem for me is Crocus. How will you say Crocus? The name of the...
I'd say Crocus.
Crocus, okay.
Yeah.
This country, we just invented our own country. And it's
it's based in a country called Galadi.
Yeah, Galadi. This country is like north of Belgium and France and stuff. So it gets like and a bit of
the Netherlands.
The Netherlands, yeah. It's just in the top of Europe, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Northern Europe.
They created a show with different characters, right? And the show is called Crocus, but I don't think the main character will be him.
Yeah, he's the sort of the old wise mentor wizard frog that's kind of sending them off on adventures for whatever reason.
Exactly, because he's an old man.
Yeah.
So and these 4 frogs, which is a little bit like a D&D team, right?
Yeah.
You have the main character, which is Prince Joris. He's like this, let's go for an adventure, right? This type of energetic type of fun character. Yeah. Then there's like a girl, she's the thief of the group. She's a good thief. This is a children's cartoon.
It's kind of a Robin Hood situation.
Exactly. She's a little bit like the love interest of Prince Joris, but it's not touched very much because it's a children's show at the end of the day.
Yeah, right? It's all implied.
It's all implied, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then we have the stupid character, which is Jax Melodius, which is the bard.
Stupid character, yeah.
He's
a bit slow.
No, not slow. He's sly, and he's like a little bit of a bully, right?
Okay.
He's like the Donald Chumiki, right? He thinks he's better than Joris, but he's very stupid because at the end of the day, he's just like he opens his mouth too much. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
And maybe I don't know this. But maybe he sings a little bit bad, and it's a little bit like Asterix, the bard in there.
Yeah.
And then we have Peter, which is Peter. I don't know how to pronounce the name.
I think just Peter, yeah.
Peter, yeah. And he's the good, very benevolent, nice frog. He likes to cook. That's his passion is cooking, right? He wants to be the royal chef when he grows up, right? So he's like the guy when they go to an adventure, he makes some nice cooking, And so this is a little bit of a D&D group here.
Exactly. And he's got a little pan hanging off of his backpack here.
Yes.
So you can see he's ready to go.
And they live in a place called the Whispering Marsh, right? Which is like full of magic, and there's no humans or anything like that. A very fantasy setting. And there's some villains.
Yeah, there are. We've got a set of villains as well.
Basically, it's this villainous snake, Madame Ophidia, and she's like dark magic. If Crocus is like nice white magic, a nice wizard, she will be like the villain wizard. A little bit like that Power Rangers character, Rita Repulsa, I think it's called.
Yeah, Rita Repulsa, yeah.
Exactly. It's very based on Rita Repulsa, which is based on 70s anime, like old anime. Yeah. And then, of course, she has his 2 stupid minions.
I love these guys.
Which is Renard and Gaspard. One is like, I don't know the name of the animal in English.
He looks like a weasel.
It's a weasel, yeah.
He's like a wily little weasel.
Exactly. The guy's from Roger Rabbit, a little bit,
Yeah.
And he's like the brains, and I'm doing invisible air commas here, right? He's the brains of the group, the 2, but he's an idiot. And then his little partner, Gaspard, which is like this rat, and he's dressed he's like the butcher, right?
Yeah. I like how he's got a little, his belt is a bit of string.
Yeah, it's a bit of string because he's poor, He's just a poor little guy. And he's like the nicer of the bad guys. Mm-hmm. He's not good, because he follows this Dame Ophidia because she's like, oh, thanks, Dame Ophidia, we will do everything for you, you know. But this is a little bit like Team Rocket in Pokemon, right? Where if there's a bigger villain, they will unite in that episode. It's that typical show, right? But I think it's very nice. A nice little show for kids 6 to 12, maybe.
Right, yeah. At the end of the day, everybody is kind of reasonably happy and the baddies are mildly inconvenienced.
Exactly. Nobody dies.
Nobody's dead. Nobody's really gravely injured.
No. And the show, in our world we created, the show was huge.
Yeah.
And it was famous.
Huge enough in the 80s and 90s for them to build a big theme park, basically.
They earn a lot of money thanks to this show and another we are not going to talk about today. They got a ton of money. And that's how they built the theme park.
Exactly.
And they built a theme park because they were jealous of Disneyland Paris.
Yeah, exactly. They were trying to get some of that Disney money.
They said, oh my God, Disney is going to enter Europe, right? We need to build something. Yeah. We need to build something. We need tourism in this small country, you know? So they built this Le Jardin Magique. Magique, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that basically covers the lore stuff that we're going to talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I will just tell you, this new facade that I was building here, I was looking at Park Asterix to see what they've got on their main street. Interestingly, they've got like 4 souvenir shops on the main street of Park Asterix.
I'm going to go there in September, so I will get some.
Oh yeah, you can get the real lowdown.
Yeah.
But I saw that they've got a comic shop there, and I was like, oh, that's kind of an interesting idea.
Nice.
So I was thinking maybe this could be the like official Ballon Bleu like
the studio
merchandising shop where you can buy. It would be VHS tapes, at the time when the park opened, but you could buy comic books and art books and VHS tapes and.
Because I suppose this is modern day park, right? Like this is not the. So I suppose they made a Blu-ray remaster or something of the old shows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's nice. I didn't know this. Do you know? This is surprising. I'm learning with the audience, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I literally came up with that today on the train. I was like on my way to work thinking, what can I do with that building that I made? I went on Google Maps and looking at Park Asterix. You know how it goes.
Yes.
So I think that basically covers all the IP stuff that we're going to talk about today. I think before you go, we are just going to very quickly reveal a little bit of
something interesting,
something fun that we've been working on. Over here, we have got the beginnings of the Crocus Dark Ride, as yet unnamed.
Unnamed totally, yeah. We don't know how it's...
I don't know what it's going to be called.
I don't know if we are going to call it like the show, and that's it, maybe.
This is going to be the sort of hero attraction of the park, I guess you would say. It's like when the park opened, this would have been the big main attraction to draw people in.
Yeah.
And it's this kind of dark ride on a boat, which sort of tells not like an exact story from an episode, but it's going to have a kind of what a rough sort of episode would be and truncated into a sort of a few scenes.
Yeah.
We're just going to show you the exterior of today. SP's been doing some very cool stuff inside, and we also had a little bit of help from TMH getting their like initial layout for the dark ride in, and then this exterior we've been working on this for ages based on some concept art that SP did.
Very rough concept art though. And I'm surprised you could get from that, because that was very rough, because it looks wonderful, I think, and you captured the spirit of the concept art, I think, really, really well. And it was very rough. I don't even know how you did it.
Well, that's very kind. I was a little bit worried looking at it, because you'd done all these really interesting things where it was like a tree stump with the boat going through the middle of it. I was like, how the hell am I going to build this like giant tree stump with a hole in it and have it look good? And the answer is that it's basically just loads of these this one piece, basically.
Yeah, it looks very nice.
Loads of that. Anyway, it is extremely work in progress, as you can see, but we just wanted to show a little bit of that off, just to give you a little taste, a little tease of what's coming up.
I'm excited.
And also, I think it's good to show a ride, because I realise I'm like several episodes into this.
Without rides.
Started this 7 months ago or whatever, and I still haven't shown a ride. So I think it's good to show that there are going to be rides in this park. It's not just going to be a main street. Okay, well, SP, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for letting me make this amazing thing with you, because I think it's very exciting.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much for helping me out so much and bringing all your brilliant ideas and skills and expertise to the project. It's been an absolute pleasure so far.
It's teamwork. It's teamwork at the end of the day. So
yeah. Thank you, mate. And I will catch you soon.
Okay. Have a nice day. Bye, guys.
Okay. Thanks once again to SP for jumping on with me here to talk about everything. We are now just going to do our usual little tour, and I'll catch you up on what's happened here. You might notice that things have changed a little bit in the main street here since the last time I showed it off. I guess I can just start by saying that while I really like the quick service food stands that were down the right hand side of the main street, it was just feeling a bit too... It was like there was something missing. It didn't feel like a proper main street having these kind of quick service food stalls. So I wanted to bring a bit of a main street vibe back by just introducing some proper kind of substantial facades on the right side here to sort of match up with what's on the left there. And then in the process of doing that, as I kind of continued down that rabbit hole of changing the feel of the right side of the main street, it's just changed the feel of the whole thing. And then I was showing it to SP at one point earlier on, and he remarked that it was starting to look more like a town square, so I decided to lean into that a little bit and introduce this kind of fountain in the middle here. And then we've got the first of the new facades on the right side here, which is Café Jacques. We're using the Bro brand, patent pending. I think Eben came up with this one, Wake Up Coffee. This logo is definitely legally distinct, don't worry about it. And then I guess this is a good time to address the fact that I did say on the last episode of Jardin that I wasn't going to be doing any interiors, because you're going to see a bit of a theme here as we go down the main street. I have in fact been doing interiors. I think basically once the update with the restaurants came out, and then we knew that we were getting souvenir shops, I just kind of decided, you know what, maybe I am going to do interiors. It seems kind of fun. So this is just a really simple little coffee shop. The idea is that guests would kind of come up here. You'd come up here, place your order for your coffee, and if you want like a cake or something, we've got cakes here as well, then you would wait here to grab it. And then there's a few tables to sit down, but it's mostly just kind of grab and go. Some stools in the window here as well. I actually built most of this interior on a Twitch stream, which is something I'd never done before. It was my first one. I just thought I'd give it a go. And friend of the channel, John T from Geekism, popped in and suggested that we have this kind of classic live, laugh, love style word collage. So we've just got this up here, which says, I think says life's too short for bad coffee or mediocre coffee. It's the whole vibe. And then the next two interiors are currently still empty. I am going to do these, but I think they're going to be a little bit slower of a process. And then heading back outside, I will also say, obviously, there were trees in the previous version of the main street, but they were all really small trees. And I don't know, I just decided that I want bigger trees, basically. So, I don't know, I've put in these like taller trees, and I've filled out these planters that were here before with slightly different railing style. The whole thing now just feels much cozier, it's more inviting. I also narrowed the whole street, so I brought this right side in a bit. As you're coming in from the turnstiles here, I feel like you're a little bit more sort of led straight down the middle here. So then on the left here, we've got the Jardin Magique, which is the big gift shop that I showed before. This has now also got an interior. This gift shop basically would cover all the kind of main IPs in the park, and then just a little bit of random kind of general theme park merchandise. We've got a little selection of snacks over here using these new t-shirt items that we got from the gift shop update. I thought hanging them on little mini rails like this made them look a little bit like packets of crisps or sweets or something. Over here we've got the bargain bin full of King Coasters. And then checkouts over here in the corner. Probably my favourite thing about this gift shop is this kind of arched ceiling area that you get as you come in. It's taking up quite a lot of floor space with no kind of stuff in it, but I could put a display in the very middle here, but I think I quite like it, just having it as an area where you can walk in and enjoy this little kind of moment of architecture. And then over here, I still haven't gotten around to decorating this this is going to be the little sweet shop on the end. So obviously we don't have any stuff for that in game, so that's all going to need to be made custom at some point, and I haven't got around to that yet. And then next door, we've got Réfectoire de Peter. And last time this didn't have an interior, it now does. There is also a coffee shop here on the end, which I might now get rid of now that I've built the coffee shop down at the end of the main street. This one feels a bit superfluous. It looks okay, but the vibe isn't quite as good as the other one. This shelf I was intending to fill with merchandise like mugs and stuff. Forgot I was going to do that, so I will do that at some point. If I just come back outside again, you'll see that the main entrance to this restaurant now is over this side, where we've got this kind of turret area with little archways underneath it for you to come in. So if you come in through the main entrance, then you are then closer to the entry here to the buffet, which is where you get your food served. You would kind of come along here. I've got some placeholder menus up here, which I just grabbed from Google. The idea is there'd be someone serving you here. You choose what you're going to have, some desserts. You'd have it on a little tray and then bring it around to here, pay for it, and you're away. Really wanted to try and bring this kind of like Subway vibe into this restaurant, where they just have pictures of, produce on the walls. And SP also made these kind of 2D versions of the characters. He's not going to stay there, but I'm going to put him somewhere in here with a little speech bubble telling you to eat your vegetables. And then otherwise, it's pretty kind of straightforward, really. Lots of booths, lots of tables and chairs. Do I wish that the tables and chairs were smaller? Yes. Do I wish we had more types of booths? Yes, but generally, I'm pretty chuffed with how this has all come out, and it does look, there's no guests in the park at the moment, but when the guests are in the park and they're all kind of sitting around eating in here, it looks great. So then heading back over to the other side of the street. Oh, I'll also point out this little bonbon stand that I made, which is just like a kind of mini roaming version of the sweet shop, I guess. The fantasy pack is coming in clutch basically across all of this new stuff I'm building. It was really the fantasy pack coming out that really gave me this little boost to come in and rework the other side of the main street here. But so this big blue building here is the kind of history museum, which will house a bunch of old kind of memorabilia and stuff from the animation studio, the Ballon Bleu. And then the shop next door, as I was saying earlier, to SP is kind of like an official merchandise shop for the studio where you would buy Blu-rays, DVDs, posters, art books, that sort of thing. And again, I haven't done the interior on this one yet. But what I have done is the interior here on Ravener's Treasures. Oh yeah, I think I did I say this earlier? I don't know, but I moved the quick service restaurants around the corner here so that they're a little bit removed from the main street, but still kind of part of this general sort of area of buildings, and that's just feeling way better to me. Obviously this is very whip, I need to dress this all up properly, but yeah, inside of Ravener's Treasures, got this kind of really cozy little gift shop here. It's kind of a completely different feel to the main gift shop, where we're inside this kind of cozy little cottage. We've got a fireplace here. This pot that's on the fire is from a really good workshop set that I'll leave a link to in the description, and I think these two little bottles here are also from that set. But yeah, I made this little fireplace with the little stand for the pot just to kind of get the cozy vibes going. We got the piano. I grabbed a bunch of Studio Ghibli backgrounds to use as artworks around this shop, so I've got them all sort of framed up in various spots. And then yeah, just generally using all the gift shop stuff to create a lovely little vibe here. If I just change the lighting in here, I think it looks a bit better later in the day, so that we've got the light coming in through this window. And then yeah, we've got this sort of main display here with this treasure chest on it. And yeah, I do need to come in and swap out these plushies in the back here for the official plushies that SP made. That's Ravener's Treasures, and I think that covers everything that I've got to show you today. So yeah, thank you once again for joining me. I have started working on a couple of other rides besides the one that I showed you with SP earlier. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to have to show you next time. Maybe we'll have a ride, maybe not. I think it would be nice to have a ride, but I'm having quite a lot of fun with the main street still. But yeah, thanks again for watching, everybody. I really appreciate all the love and support on all the Planet Coaster content still. Hope you have a lovely day, week, night, whatever it is, and I will catch you next time. Bye!